Today on the program, BYD is presenting a K car that's determined to make a place for itself in Europe. Nissan is unveiling a minivan under 4 meters for 6,000 euros. Tesla is integrating Grok into all its models in Europe. And Alpine is giving the first information about the future. A110 electric, 555 horsepower, 1.5 tons, and 60 kilometers of range. The Chinese are afraid of nothing. BYD, the Chinese automotive giant, has decided to take on the most closed, the most patriotic market in the world, that of K cars in Japan. For those who don't know, a K car is a tiny little car that benefits from reduced taxes and insurance. In Japan, it's a private preserve, a private club where only Japanese manufacturers like Honda, Suzuki, or Daihatsu are allowed to play. And now BYD arrives with its own version, the Raco. And to spice things up, it's 100% electric in a country where hybrids are still king. The challenge with these cars is fitting 4 people into a tiny box that's just 3.40 meters long. In the middle of the dashboard, there's the inevitable touchscreen, and behind the steering wheel, a digital display. It's modern, clean, and surprisingly well-equipped for such a small vehicle. Automatic air conditioning, heated seat, but now, the engine, hold on tight. Rumor has it, there are 27 horsepower. Yes, 27. That's less than a high-end lawnmower. The standard battery will give you 180 kilometers of range. Fortunately, a version with a bigger battery and 300 kilometers of range is planned. And it's precisely this version that could make its way to us in Europe, especially to compete with the Twingo. The funniest thing about all this is the charging power. It can handle up to 100 kWh, which is huge for this kind of car. In just a few minutes, the battery will be full. So does this BYD Raco stand a chance? In Japan, with a price announced under 14,000 euros, maybe, but in Europe, that's a whole different story. Next, did you think that Nissan's cheapest car was the Micra at nearly 30,000 euros? How foolish we are. While we Europeans complain about car prices, Nissan in India has decided to show us what truly affordable means. They released a new minivan, the Gravit, and its price is under 6,000 euros. Yes, for the price of a cup holder in an Audi. You can get an entire car with that amount, so before you rush to your dealership, Nissan, calm down, this car isn't for us. Of course not. The Gravit is meant for India. And it's not even a real Nissan, by the way. It's a Renault Triber, a car you've probably never heard of with a Nissan badge stuck on the hood. But the funniest thing is that this car is 3.99 meters long, which is shorter than a Volkswagen Polo, and they managed to fit 7 seats in it. I imagine that the passengers in the 3rd row quickly get to know the smell of the shampoo used by the passengers in the 2nd row, but luckily, you can remove that 3rd row, and then, like magic, you get a 625-liter trunk. It's gigantic, and under the hood there's an engine. Well, a kind of engine. A 1-liter 3-cylinder that delivers the phenomenal power of 72 horsepower to carry 7 people. That's less power per person than a tandem bike. The 0 to 100 kilometers each time must be measured with a calendar. So, is it a good car? For us Europeans? Spoiled. Absolutely not. But for India, it might be a revolution. And honestly, despite the very limited performance, we have to admit one thing. With a price like that, we'd gladly take it here, wouldn't we? At Tesla, they've decided to turn cars into amateur psychologists, conspiracy theorists, and apparently romantic partners. Elon Musk, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to bless us with his personal artificial intelligence, Grok. Right here in Europe, for those living under a rock, Grok is Musk's answer to ChatGPT. It's a chatbot that's known for flirting with denialism and for having slip-ups that could be described as cheeky. And now, a supposedly restricted version of this digital genius is coming to our Teslas. So, what is this new toy for? Can it drive for you while you take a nap? Of course not. Can it adjust the air conditioning or choose your music? Don't even think about it, no? Its main mission is to chat and manage the global positioning system. You can, for example, tell it to take you to the dump and it will give you the route, but it might also try to convince you that dumps are portals to another dimension. But that's where it gets really deeply ridiculous, and therefore absolutely essential. If you're like me with the intelligence quotient of an endive, you can choose your car's personality. You have the classic mode with a neutral assistant, a language teacher, or a therapist. But the best one is the conspiracy theorist mode. Imagine you're on your way to work and your car starts explaining to you that pigeons are government drones. That's not all. There's a kids mode and an adult mode. And in adult mode, you can choose between unfiltered, motivational, romantic, and sexy. So of course, to have the privilege of being flirted with by your dashboard, you need a model produced after 2021 and a premium subscription. Apart from needs, you can choose your needs. You can choose according to your needs. And finally, I have bad news, very, very bad news. The Alpine A110, this little marvel of lightness, this feather that dances on the road, this car that reminds us why we love to drive, is going to die. And what's going to replace it? An electric car, of course. So what does the future hold for us, according to Alpine? A new A110 then, but electric. To reassure us, we're told it will be based on the Renault 5 Turbo 3e. Just to remind you, the latter produces 555 horsepower, ambitious, of course, but potentially disastrous, because the heart of the problem is the weight. The current A110 is a lightweight. That's what makes it so brilliant, not necessarily the number of horsepower it has to offer under your foot. For the next electric A110, they're announcing 1,500 kg. That's Alpine's goal anyway, but that's mainly 400 kg more than the current one. They're promising a range of 480 kilometers in normal use and the ability to do 3 laps of the Nürburgring in sporty driving. For those in the know, I'll let you do the math. That's basically 60 kilometers of range. And no, this isn't a joke. As for the price, for now the brand isn't giving us any information. But if it's really based on the R5 Turbo 3e, you should know that the latter is sold for 160,000 euros. But there's a glimmer of hope in all this. Just one. The Alpine interior promises a driver-focused cockpit with real buttons, not touchscreens everywhere. And so far, that's the only sensible thing in this whole project. Anyway, tell me what you think. An electric Alpine. A110, is it a good idea or not? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching this new video. Don't hesitate to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to make sure you don't miss anything. Bye.